For the other guest, he came in on his own dime and was supposed to give me a cut from his take that day. Separate from that, there was a severe breakdown in communication somewhere between the promoter, Jason Maples, and myself as his guarantee for appearing on the wrestling show that night. The original deal was meant to be the promoter paying his guarantee and that talent cutting me in on 20% of that. I do not know where the breakdown of communication occurred. What I can tell you is that we were already on the road when the talent called me upset. I rushed back to the venue. I rushed back to the venue and gave him some of his money back and that he asked for. If I was some shady promoter, I certainly would have not gone back to the venue. The promoters claim that I spent hundreds of dollars at his show and at Boardwalk Beatdown on meet and greets with other talent is 100% incorrect. At Boardwalk, I walked up to each vendor, introduced myself, and they let me take a pic with their talent for free. I paid for nothing that day. This past Saturday, the one talent... I'm gonna find all this nonsense. Okay. This past Saturday, the one talent I did meet was part of an agreement with his vendor, and no cash transactions were made. I paid nothing that day, as well as for the meet and greets. I am committed and will remain committed to bringing the full-blooded Italians to mark out at the Meadowlands on WrestleMania Sunday. I do not have any active bookings before that, and I will be taking that time to develop my business practices so that incidents do not occur again. Signed, Anthony D'Alfonso. Just from that one paragraph, what the reason you had scheduled bookings before WrestleMania. You canceled them. So let's be clear there. Okay, you had talent going to big event, you canceled them. Basically 2 weeks, not even, 10 days before the event. Which tells me you never booked their flights. Because nobody's going to book their flights and then cancel and going to be beat out of how many hundreds of dollars for their flights. Okay. Also, let's get this straight. I don't know Anthony D'Alfonso personally. I've had 2 encounters with him. I think one of them was at Big Event, and then this past August in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So I honestly don't really know anything about him, but I can tell you that I received screenshots of conversation that he had with Jason Maples after he left. And when Jason told him that he was wrong for what he did, Anthony blocked him on Facebook Messenger, removed him from Twitter, and blocked his phone number from going through. So, and he also canceled. So see, that this is what's funny. He says that he didn't have anything going on from now until WrestleMania. But he canceled Big Event, we just said. And on December 9th, he canceled his talent at Icons of Wrestling, which was Ricky Reyes and Duke the Dumpster Droese. So, you can't say you didn't have anything, you didn't have any booking. You had 2 separate bookings with multiple talents going before April's WrestleMania weekend. So I spoke to Jason. Jason didn't want to come on the show live because he didn't want to get upset and say the wrong thing, make himself look bad, which is totally understandable. Okay? People who don't know Jason, he's been in this business for 26 years. And he flat out said he's never dealt with somebody so unprepared in his life. Okay? At Boardwalk Beatdown, I drove Anthony there, picked him up and his talent for an exchange for certain amount of money. We're not gonna name prices because none of anybody's business. With certain amount of money, hotel, and fuel, expenses, basically expenses. I told Anthony he needed to pay the talent at the airport Thank God during the event I noticed 100% that Anthony was dipping into his cash box and then using it to go table to table to meet other wrestlers' talents, and he was paying for these meet and greets. So if he claims that he's not paying for it, that means he was putting money out of the cash box in his pocket and then complaining he didn't have money to pay the talent. So either way, he was wrong. He should have never took. I mean, it's one thing to take $1 out to get a talent a bottle of water. It's another thing to take $50 out to go do a meet and greet. I mean, that's just silliness. Let's see. Anthony tried to not pay me. Said he was broke. He said it in front of the talent. Anthony offered me 50% of the take from the Q&A at this past weekend show. Never told Jason that he was responsible for paying Jim Cornette. He claimed that Jim Cornette was going to get paid a certain amount of money by Jason. That conversation never happens. Push comes to shove at the end. Jim Cornette and Jason Maples exchanged text messages and emails that went on between Anthony and them. And 100% Anthony's fault. As far as him not being a shady promoter because he came back to the venue to pay Jim Cornette whatever money he owed him because Jim Cornette called him and flipped the hell out in front of everybody. And Jim, Jim is Jim. He does some crazy shit on his Twitter, says some crazy shit on his show, but he's not the type of person to threaten people. I mean, but he literally told Anthony he better look over his shoulder that, he ever sees him again, he's going to beat the shit out of him. And he's lucky that, he's an old man or he didn't want to go to jail for killing him. So there was an incident that also happened in the parking lot when Anthony finally came back. That if anybody's got that video, please send it on over because I was told it was a couple people had it on video of basically Jim Cornette flipping out on him until Anthony paid the money. So, don't really use the, if I was shady, I wouldn't have come back. You came back because you were threatened. That's why you came back. Whatever financial agreements that went on between Anthony and the wrestling convention and all his talents that were involved in the show, the talent lived up to their deals. Anthony didn't. Anthony basically went into the show with no money in his pocket. And, this is kind of where the problem is. If you go into a convention and you owe, and I'm just going to use X amount of dollars. If you owe talent X amount of dollars and you go to that show without X amount of dollars in your pocket, you're doing it wrong. You're failed. Because you have to have that money in your pocket just in case, barring any mishap or anything crazy, and you don't make the money back. I'm not talking about flights and hotels because all that crap's prepaid for. I'm talking about appearance fees. Not everybody hands the talent the appearance fee as soon as they walk in the door because then you kind of lose that leverage because now they can get up, they can walk around, they're going to start signing free shit, blah, blah, blah. You give it to them after the signing is over. It's a power move, but it needs to be done a lot of times until you establish a relationship with these people. Okay? But if you go there without that money in your pocket, you're relying solely on gimmick, you're foolish. Absolutely foolish. Because nothing's guaranteed. You're gambling. That's exactly what you're doing when it comes to signings, is you're gambling. You're taking a chance that the fans are going to come to the table, and you're taking a chance that you're going to make the money back and some. If you don't, you got to have that money. You can go to the talent and ask them if you could pay them at another time, or offer to bring them into another show and pay them back at that one. I mean, that's just foolish, and this is what went on. So it was just really foolish. So after numerous phone calls, and even his hotel room, Anthony didn't even pay for his damn hotel room. He made the venue pay for it. And then I got to ask Chad because I was told that he owes Chad money for a hotel room as well. From Boardwalk Beatdown, he was supposed to pay for a room and he never did. So we'll find out about that. He then, as everybody knows, he quickly went out and blocked everybody, including me. Which, why would you block me? I don't even know. I've never even talked to you. But it was just ridiculous. I mean, I'm reading this conversation, and I'm not going to go into detail about the conversation because it's none of really anybody's business what went on in the conversation. But Jason made absolutely all valid points about how he should have been doing the business correctly. And they had a Q&A with Jim Cornette, and Anthony dipped out before the Q&A was even over, still owing Jim Cornette money, and tried to basically stick Jason with the bill, I guess you could say. And before the conversation even ended, Jason asked at the end, well, where's the rest of my money? And then you can see it says, you can't reply to this conversation, which means he was blocked. So that is your first sign of guilt, is when you block somebody when money conversation comes up, because then you're just admitting that you're absolutely wrong. So Anthony, the only thing I can say is, like, look, if you want to continue to be in this business, that's your prerogative. You can do whatever the hell you want. But you're not going to be able to do anything up here. Legends of the Ring and big event, they're not going to let you do it. You're done. So you just lost in New York and New Jersey. So what else are you going to do? Because if you screwed enough talent, that talent talks to other talent, who talks to other talent, and before you know it, you're blackballed without even knowing it, because all this talent has talked to each other and they know not to do business with you. Yes, talent basically will do anything for money, but only when they know they're getting it. And you doing this now a couple of times, in the last two shows, and then canceling 2 shows right after that, and then promising everybody that you're going to do the Markdown show in April, which everybody's just waiting, I guess, for you to cancel that too. Or you just plan on, packing away money for the next 6 months and hoping that you have enough money to go in. And you don't even do pre-sales, which is mind-boggling. Why wouldn't you do pre-sales? You don't have a PayPal account? That's great. It takes approximately 20 minutes to make one. You really, seriously, that makes no sense. Why would you not be doing pre-sales? Why would you be guaranteeing yourself money before you even walked in the door? That's just silly. Absolutely silly. My pre-sales in Atlantic City paid for the entire weekend. Really? You don't have PayPal? You don't need PayPal. There's tons of other places and sites that you can use pre-sales. Eventbrite, I'm sure you have some kind of savings or checking account. You just link it to that, so the money goes into your account. I don't get it. It makes no sense. I mean, it's really stupid, which means that you're not doing. You're also not doing mail orders or bulk orders. I don't get it. To me, that's just silly. So I just say, look, if you're going to continue to do this, like I said, your prerogative. But don't expect anybody to do any favors for you. Don't expect people to be giving you free photo ops and free this and free that and blah, 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 blah. Because from, the last conversation I had with you was me trying to play peacemaker between you and Dave Mooch of MZ Promotions, because you went over there and after he told you no about a photo op with Ken Shamrock, you waited for him to walk away, and then you ran over and got a picture with Ken Shamrock because you brought Gangrel with you. So then you grabbed a freebie, right after you were told no. So, and Mooch was pissed off, and he came on the show and he said so, and he's posted on Facebook a couple of times, and you messaged me, and I told you flat out, I'm like, you need to get in touch with him, and you need to smooth this over. You apologize, get it over with, get it out there, suck it up, move on. But you didn't do that, and then you do this, and you know what? It just cements what Dave Mooch has been saying, is that you're terrible at this, And maybe this is not for you. It's not for everybody.